Netgear. I handle a lot of the trade shows, get to work with a lot of the equipment, get to play with our new stuff that's coming out, and looking forward to helping answer any questions you have.
Cool. And Angelo?
Hey, I'm Angelo, and I apologize. I think they're just seeing the intro right now. So
trade shows,
just to kind of start off, I'm Angelo. I'm the senior interactive
wait,
and
hold on.
looking forward to
I've got an
helping
echo.
answer any questions.
Let me fix this. Okay, we're good. Sorry. Go ahead, Angelo.
Okay. So I think you guys can see us now. Welcome to Tech Support Live. Sorry, Alec. I think I just kind of stole the intro right here.
Oh, should I go back?
No.
All right, maybe. We're gonna run it back. What's up, guys? I'm Alec, and I'm back hosting again. It's been a while, but I'm happy to be back here hosting Tech Support Live. And as I just said earlier, but you guys didn't hear me, I'm here with the dream team, minus Darren. We've got Michael, Angelo, and Ben. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Michael, to any of the newcomers.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm Michael. This is Take Two, technical marketing manager. Do a lot of the trade shows at Netgear, get to work with a lot of the equipment that we have, get to play with all the new stuff, and here to help answer any questions you got.
Cool. And Angelo, if you can introduce yourself as well.
Cool. Hey guys, I'm Angelo. I'm a senior interactive media specialist here at Netgear. So I guess we're trading off on the hosting this time. You can usually find me on our Tuesday events and then every other Friday here for Tech Support Live. But just in the meantime, I manage the YouTube account, the Nighthawk Gaming Twitch channel, and then if you just really follow any of our social accounts, I also kind of handle or had my hand on the content that you see across those channels. So yeah, happy to be here, and please let us know your questions.
Cool. And last but not least, Ben.
Hey everybody, it's Ben Osvito, also Zardu Ben on Twitter. I'm the Nighthawk Pro Gaming Brand Experience Manager. And what does that mean? It means that I touch pretty much everything that has to do with Nighthawk Pro Gaming, from working with customers, working with gamers, influencers, social media, everything, down to the box. But as always, I'm happy to be here. It's great to have Alec back. He's always a lot of fun. Though in the introduction, I was like, man, am I Donatello? Because combined, we got Michelangelo. And the way that you said it, we have Michael, Angelo, and Ben. I was like, oh. So my head went to the Ninja Turtles. So you could already see where I am.
I never noticed that, but I think from now on, whenever I'm hosting, I'm going to put Michael right before Angelo.
Yes,
so
exactly.
All right, cool. And just to introduce myself, I'm Alec. I'm an interactive media specialist here at Netgear, and I'm doing a lot of the photography and graphic design for the website and for our social media platforms. And recently, I've been doing a bit of web design. It's kind of fun. I'm learning how to do it. So yeah, that's the dream team. We're all here. We're here to help. We've already got some comments in the chat. I don't think we have any questions so far.
Yeah, we got a lot of people coming back. And what is this? Is this like number 14 that we've done? I don't know. Like, where are we?
We're far along here.
We've done this for a while now.
I've been logging down ever since we started, and it's been solidly, what has it been? Since April, essentially since early April. So hold on, we're passing like the 4-month mark at this point.
Yeah.
Of doing streams.
Yeah, we're getting
every week.
We're at like the 16th week here, it sounds like. And it's just been, they've been getting better and better. We have been doing a lot of these virtual events. And they've been really successful. And, if any of you guys have viewed those, you've seen we bring out some really awesome people. And what's kind of cool is that all kind of came from this series. This was kind of the pilot virtual event series. And, it's gone through different iterations. You can see now it looks different. And we're getting better on camera, I hope. But
I hope so. I think that we are. And I think that we've really done, like, not to pat ourselves on the back, but like I really feel that every week we're able to help you guys out, and I think that's why you guys return. I think that's one of the coolest things about this is we get to help people that ordinarily might have been frustrated. I know that it's really hard right now because of COVID to to sit on that phone for a while and then get in touch with support. So being able to, just, get your question out, I know that, for me, that would be a great thing. So I'm glad that you guys are continuing to support this show.
Totally.
Yep.
We're almost to 50K on the YouTube channel, so we're halfway to getting the plaque.
We are almost there. And I've been managing the YouTube account since like 2017 or so, or December 2016. When I joined, it was about 16K subscribers. So pretty hefty increase. And again, we will continue to be able to do these shows as long as you guys are here in the chat and supporting the show. So if you guys like this, send a like, and then you're gonna help us get the stream to more of our subscribers. So because I can see the stats, and the algorithm is gonna like it if you essentially engage with us. So throw your questions in, give us a like, and then we'll be able to essentially get the stream out to more of our subscribers' watch pages. And out of 50K, that's a pretty good amount. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you for joining, and then even doing this over the last few months. We have our regulars, so I did want to shout out a couple folks from the beginning. Of course, Shady Joker, I always shout you up, but because you are literally in every single video that I upload, I see you the same day. So I appreciate that support. Same with M-Dog, Paul Connolly, I believe you've been here in the past. So
yeah, and Paul was first. Let's give him the prize for being first.
He gets the first comment award.
First comments, you get a shout. So there you go.
Yeah, I just want to go through some of the comments in the chat. We've gotten one question, but a lot of comments here. Ricky B mentioned that his R7960P has been running flawlessly for the last 2 weeks. So
excellent.
Glad that your router is serving you well, and hopefully it does so for many years to come. We got, as Angela mentioned, we got a happy Friday from Shady Joker. Welcome back, Shady Joker. Always great to have you. And
M-Dog coming from across not only across the continent, because we're all on the West Coast, but also across the ocean. And so thanks for joining us. I know it's getting towards late in the day for you, so thanks for joining.
And our first question is not really product related, but more so development related. Do we have an approved firmware developer partner program? For example, building a free BSD version. I'm not aware that we have a program like what you've mentioned. I don't think we do. But if you have suggestions for where you think our software should go, definitely let us know here. And definitely, comment in our community as well. Netgear is a small enough company. I mean, I know it seems like it's a huge company, but it's really not super big. So everybody sees everything. We can talk to the software team, for example, and let them know what your feedback is. And they're on the community as well, interacting with you guys. So even though we're a big public company, we're still kind of like a homegrown startup kind of structure almost. So definitely let us know your thoughts.
And one thing I would probably shout out is if you have anything specific that you would want to recommend in terms of the firmware, the software, really anything we're developing here. We have something on the Netgear community, which is our community forums. It's called the Idea Exchange Program. So if you put in your idea and if it gets enough upvotes, it will go to the product team. Let me see if I could dig up a link. But our community forums are community.netgear.com. And then let me see if I could kind of throw a link in there for anyone who might be interested in your feedback, because we'd love to hear it.
Definitely. We really, really like to hear what you guys have to say, and it often does get implemented, especially with what you have seen for Doom OS 3. A lot of the features that people have been asking for, we were able to work with NetDuma to make that happen, which is really cool.
Yeah, and like those suggestions are always great, because it's something that I've had as an idea, but it hasn't. There are products that they come towards the end of their lifespan as far as support from us, and it'd be interesting to have an approved firmware developer. So if you like loved a particular product and you could kind of keep it alive after it's had its run. I think that would be interesting to really kind of form a community of networking developers.
Yeah, that would be cool.
We've actually done some of that in the past. If you go to a My Open Router, there is a section there on Netgear, and we have had third-party developer create DDWRT open source for a fair number of our routers, not the pro gaming line, but a lot of the other routers, R7000, some of the other more popular ones. So Paul, definitely, send your contact info to the Netgear team at netgear.com that's posted in the chat, and they can pass it over to the people that, were working with that. But we have done stuff like that in the past before.
Wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. That's actually really cool.
I think that's super cool. See, we learn something every single day, and how do we learn some of these? It's from questions from you guys. So thanks, Paul. That was a great question to kick off today.
Definitely. So yeah, Paul, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Cool. He said he will, so that's exciting.
Good.
Awesome.
We love meeting you kinds of people here. Go ahead. Bill.
What a great way to start today. And instead of like five people where my stuff's all broken, we have a great way to kick that off. But Hitman has a question. So
cool. So Hitman, he says, "Hi guys, I really appreciate the tech support. Can the rest of the XR500 owners get the DoomOS 3 update already? Waiting 2 months already. Pretty please. Thanks guys. Have a good one." So this is a Ben question.
Yeah, it is. And who's in the control booth today?
It's me.
Ooh, Christine.
Is it Christine?
Yeah.
Yes.
The other control booth.
So Hitman, can you give us your community Netgear community ID if you have one? If you don't have one, go to community/Netgear.
Google Netgear community.
Just Google it, create an ID, give us that ID, and we'll get you into the beta. We've been opening it up to more and more users, and I know that you guys have been waiting, but the reason why we've been opening it up slowly in this closed beta is so that way we kind of don't get overwhelmed as far as responses, and we can track and follow up on issues a little bit easier. Yeah, I thought that Hitman. I thought that we had already greenlit you, because that looks
very
ID,
familiar.
That looks very familiar. But we'll make sure that you are greenlit and you can get into the forum. You'll have to get into it through netgearinnovation.com/Duma. God, I'm terrible at this.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. I'm going to find this beta for you. So netgearinnovation.com DumaOS-beta. I'll put that actually into the comments. And then just follow the link and go to the forum. But uh-oh. What? Oh, you can't hear me? How about now?
Oh. Uh-oh.
Connected. Oh, they're back.
That's your headphones again.
It's the AirPods. The first time I ran the show with AirPods, they gave me headaches.
Yes, they did.
They just disconnected and reconnected. I don't know why.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, no, you're good. It was
okay.
Me. It was me.
So that's the link. You'll follow it. You'll go to the forum. I think that Christine can hook you up because she's amazing, and we'll get you in there. But yeah, it looks like you got permission. So just go to Netgear Innovation, that link I just put, and follow it through to the beta community, and you should be able to download it and check it out. We're going to try to open it up a little bit more. I know I say that every week, and we do, but we really want to make sure that this launch for the Duma OS 3.0 is pretty locked down solid, because it's our due diligence to make sure that it's the best that it can possibly be for you.
Totally. Cool. Okay. So moving on from that question, hopefully you're able to get access. That'd be awesome. And it sounds like you can. So good there.
Yep.
We have a question from JV. Is there any issue with the Netgear Orbee mobile app? I'm having issues with signing in to the administrator side of it directly. I have no issues tapping into the settings remotely. Interesting. Michael, do you have any insight on a currently known bug?
I haven't heard any current bugs on using the mobile app to get it in. And it's odd that he can get in remotely, but he can't get in on just signing directly into the administrator. One thing, always recommended when you're talking about the apps is, delete the app, reinstall the app, try it again, just to make sure that something hasn't happened to it. But I don't think there's any open issue specifically on that right now.
Okay, yeah, I would make that same suggestion of deleting it and reinstalling it.
Mm-hmm. And JV, also, this is a 2-hour show, so we got about like an hour 40 left. So we'd be happy to help you out just on any specific kind of situation that you're running into right now. So yeah, even though we might not see anything widespread around the community, if it's something that we could kind of diagnose here on the show, we'd be happy to do it. So give us any more information in terms of trying to sign onto the administrative side, what exactly you're trying to accomplish, and then we'll try to help you out to the best of our ability.
Totally, yeah. If you want to report back after you try something and let us know if it didn't work, we'll be here.
Yep, we'll be here.
Cool. So we've caught up on all the questions. Oh, he says he's already done that, and
yep.
Perhaps there's also, or the issue is still ongoing. So I hate to suggest to reset your Orbee, but that would probably be another suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure of any
Because I'm
other
interested,
thing.
you could tap into the settings, but trouble signing into the admin side. So I'm wondering if he's trying to log in with the default admin password in order to get and access certain settings. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly which one is the part of the process to solve. Are you having trouble getting into the app, or are you having trouble accessing like a certain setting, or like remotely managing your Orbee? Once you're able to kind of give us a little bit more information, we could help you out then.
Totally.
Oh, and of course, one other thing I was thinking about is if you're trying to access the admin directly from your phone, check to see that the phone is actually connected up to your local Wi-Fi and it's not trying to go through your cellular connection, because then you would have problems, and the only way you'd be able to get in is remotely. And one thing you can try just to test that out is you can put your phone in airplane mode and then turn the Wi-Fi on the phone, and that'll keep the cellular off. Then you can try testing that just to make sure that it isn't having some problem trying to go out on the cellular when it's trying to do a local connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good suggestion. Yep. Definitely, I would try that as well.
Yeah, I do agree.
Sometimes the phones are a little finicky with the way they connect between mobile and Wi-Fi, so definitely a possibility there. Give that a shot. Let us know what happens. But it looks like we're all caught up on the questions. Not too many questions today, but if you're in chat and you want to ask us something's going wrong with your product, don't be shy. We're here to help. That's the reason we are online right now. But in the meantime, I look to Angelo, my source of filler questions. Do you have any filler questions for us today?
Looking to me again. All right. Well, here, let me actually see. I just want to make sure that JB is okay, because I actually did just flip open to. I have the Nighthawk app, which is essentially kind of similar to the Orbee app. So I'm just kind of going through the flow just to make sure, trying to figure out where exactly you're stuck. So essentially, I have mine set up to remotely manage. And in order for me to do that, I connected through the same, just the Wi-Fi network that's at my home. And then essentially I was able to access it right through the app. And then I'm kind of taken right to the dashboard once, can you see that? And it opened up traffic meter. So I have no issues on my side, which kind of notes that it's technically not exactly widespread, but yeah, let me know where specifically you're stuck in the flow, because I'm at the dashboard right now. And that was my filler, because now we got a couple more questions to answer.
Totally. So JV says he's tried all of that. Only way he can access it is via his PC.
Is there a certain error, or what exactly is like showing on screen on your mobile app? And like just like be really specific as to what it says, and then I could kind of we can do a little bit of digging to see who else has run into that issue in the past, and then after that we can help you out.
Okay, well, in the meantime, we will continue. We have a question from Ricky B. I haven't read the whole thing, but I see IPv4 and v6, so I think Ben can answer this question. But
I think that Michael can back me up on this. The key question is, can you set it for IP4 and IP6, or is it an IP4 or IP6 situation? Setting it for IP6 automatically allows IP4 to go through as well, correct?
Yep, it's backward compatible.
Backward compatibility. So if you set it for IP6, you should have IP4 functionality. So it's included, free.
Didn't know that. Makes sense though. It's like Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6 kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart is on here.
Kevin Hart's he's been on a couple times. He's a big fan of the show, and we're a big fan of Kevin Hart. He asks, I have the AX6000 Orbee and a couple devices on the 2.4 gigahertz, and they keep disconnecting when I try to reconnect to the Orbee. It would go through I read that poorly, but he changed the channel from auto to 6, and it seems to work now.
Okay.
That's good. Let us know if there's any other ongoing issues, and we'll see if we can help you out there.
Yep. And that's actually a good hint to try for other people when they're trying to use devices that only work on 2.4, especially a lot of the home automation devices, Wi-Fi cameras, that sort of thing that only want 2.4 gigahertz band, that trying to set it to a specific channel like 6, which is one of the good channels that doesn't overlap, is worth trying just to make sure, because it is a common problem with pretty much all the devices like Orbee and the competitor products, where you've got the same SSID for 2.4 and 5. Some 2.4 clients that only work on 2.4 can get confused. So that is a good suggestion.
Totally. That's some good knowledge for anybody else viewing the stream that might have a similar question. Cool. So Dan asks a question. Is this a follow-up?
Dan has a question.
Yeah, Dan has a question. Why would my 2.4 stop working and then 5 would be fine? Talking about bans, I'm assuming here. I try to log in from the Nighthawk app and it says I put the incorrect password. Well, if you're trying to log in from the Nighthawk app, that means you're trying to access the firmware. And that is something you gotta just keep. You have to make sure you have the right username and password. And if you don't have the right username and password, you're gonna need to reset the router or figure out what it is. Maybe somebody else in your house changed it. But I don't really have an answer for why your 5 is showing up and your 2.4 isn't showing up. You could have them aggregated into one SSID, and
Smart Connect could be
Smart Connect. Exactly. That's the term I was looking for. But if you do want to go in and tinker, you're gonna need to figure out what the username and password is, because that's a must. So you might have to reset your router, and then it'll be username will be username or admin, and then the password will be password. It's like the
Yep. And also, I'd have a question that when the 2.4 stops working, because I'm assuming you see a different SSID for 2.4 and 5. If it does stop working and you actually reboot the router, does it come back up? And if it does come back up, then that is something we need to look into a bit deeper, because that means something's going on with your 2.4 Wi-Fi that's making it go on and off. If restarting it doesn't bring it back up, then we've got to nail down the reason why you're just not seeing it. And Smart Connect could be the reason. If you've got that turned on, both the 5 and the 2.4 are going to have the same SSID.
Gotcha.
And I actually have a question for the group. When over time, there's been it's been asked of me on a couple of products, but over time where they've had it for a couple of years and then they feel that they have to reset their router once a week because they get dropouts. What are the common things that cause that? Is it overheating? Is it
well? Overheating can affect it, but if it's been running for a couple of years and the problem's just starting to come up, then it may or may not be. Obviously, if it's been running for a couple of years, it will be more affected by heat issues, simply because all of the components and chips in there, as it's having electricity going through it, they're slowly drying out. The capacitors are drying out, and in the long run, that's usually what kills hardware, is that just long use, like tires on a car, slowly wearing down. So that would be one thing to check, is it could have been in an area where it wasn't having a problem previously, but over time it becomes more susceptible to heat. Also, corrupted firmware can cause that problem. And it's always worth reflashing the firmware just to make sure, and doing that factory reset to make sure you've cleared out all the settings is a good idea.
Is that for like the greater audience? Is that something that you would recommend as almost like a yearly maintenance? Is to once a year kind of clear everything out, factory reset, and then download the latest firmware in order to kind of have a almost like every once in a while with like a Windows PC, you'll have to clear things out because over time updates sort of overwrite other files and those could get corrupted in one way or another. Do you think that's a best practice?
Well, normally you shouldn't have to do that, but if someone wants to, it's not a bad practice, because usually over a year's time, the router's probably auto-updated its firmware multiple times. Especially if it's a newer router, it's not something that's been out for 5 to 10 years. And so it is possible that residual information could be sitting in there, ending up causing it to get flaky. Best scenario is whenever a new firmware goes in, it's supposed to erase everything that's in all the registries on it as it's overwriting it. But a lot of times it doesn't actually flush everything out. So it certainly can't hurt. But if you're not having problems with the router, then there's not really a reason to do it. It's not quite the same as with something like Windows, where you're constantly adding new software, registry values are changing, things like that, which is almost on a daily basis with Windows. Normally, once the firmware is flashed on a router, there really aren't any changes that are happening until the next time it gets flashed.
Cool.
Interesting. I was not aware of all of that information, so that's some good stuff.
Michael coming back to save the day.
That's why Mike's
That's
here.
what it is.
Exactly.
Exactly. Here. So I did see something from JV here. So I did a little bit of digging within the last few minutes. So I'm wondering if if anyone's more familiar with the Orbee app, let me know. But there's something called Anywhere Access on through the Orbee app. And what I could see here, I'm not sure if this is synonymous with the remote management setting here, but it's something where you go into the Orbee app, press the menu icon, go to settings, and then essentially it's something to enable, which will essentially allow that remote management here. So just trying to kind of be able to help out JV here. I'm not sure if you already went ahead and then actually resetted the router and you're kind of stuck resetting it back up through the admin and password part. But if you're still able to access the settings like you did in the beginning of the stream, I wonder if that is a potential solution here where you're able to get into the settings and enable that anywhere access in order to remotely manage the app. I don't know if anyone else here has any insight on this.
I don't have any
Nope,
insight
I
on
don't have
that
anything.
particularly, but just another consideration is make sure that the firmware is up to date. You could be running very old firmware that's no longer compatible with the Orbee app. So I would say, go into the management system on your computer and double check that it's up to date. That's my only other thought. I'm not really too sure how else to fix it aside from just trying what Angela mentioned or resetting it and setting it back up. That's almost a sure fix if you do that, though. I can't imagine that wouldn't fix it. Worst case scenario, setting it back up again isn't too terrible. I mean, obviously it's inconvenient, but if you want to use that remote management and it's not working for whatever reason, give that a shot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool.
So first thing, update that firmware through the web GUI, since you mentioned that is where you currently have access. And then if you still have problems with the app, then I would suggest try that reset, but encourage you to keep the same Wi-Fi name and password. And that way you don't have to reconnect all your devices manually, like your smart TV. It's just going to automatically reconnect.
Yeah.
So
now the one thing you might have to do though is once you've done the factory reset and you reset up your the same SSID, you may have to go and turn off and on some of your client devices to get them to actually connect back in. Because even though you're using the same SSID, sometimes they don't connect in automatically and you actually have to restart them. You don't have to do anything other than just powering them off, powering them back on.
Cool.
No, that's good advice.
Yeah, it looks like he's tried everything except factory resetting it, which obviously is not the most convenient solution, but yeah, as Angelo and Michael mentioned, if you have the same username, the same SSID and password, it's not too much of a hassle. So
no.
Yeah, and I would even, because I think I've actually kind of run into something a little bit before in the past, setting up, but this is for me, it was specifically through the Nighthawk app. Try just using the default admin password to get in first, and then once you're in first, then after that you can change it. I did that one time where I changed it during the setup, and then for whatever reason, it wasn't able to recognize the token after that.
right.
And then I reset, and then getting in through default, that kind of solved my issue there. So when you reset it, just go in without changing too many things, I would say.
I definitely agree with Angela there. When you do the initial setup, do it on your phone for sure, and lock in that connection between your phone and your router, because it sounds like one, that's the issue here, but two, that's kind of the it's newer technology, like mobile management of your router. It's newer technology, so there's more opportunity for there to be some bugs like what you're experiencing right now. Once you have that connection between your phone and your router, the connection between your computer and your routers, it's going to be rock solid no matter what, because that's a tried and tested technology. So cool.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, shameless plug, but if you enjoy this program, even if you don't enjoy this program, hit the thumbs up.
Thumbs up anyway.
Down below. and the little bell to subscribe, because that allows us to come back, next week and talk to you guys. The more that we have subscribing, the more that we can do programs like this and other virtual events during this, during these times. And we really want to be able to get out there and help you guys as much as possible. So please give us some love.
Totally.
I'm gonna get us up to 50K subscribers. I want to see. I'm not saying I want you to floodgate the chat with all your people needing help, but I think in the end we want to help as many people as possible, and some people just simply don't know about the show. So the more people that know about it, really the less waiting time you're gonna get on our support lines in terms of giving us a call. But also you're gonna let us continue running the show, because if there's no one in the chat, it's gonna get harder to justify. But you got more people in here. Hey, we'll make it a party. We'll make it fun.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think Armin had a question, and I think that we may have touched this a little bit earlier, but how long does Netgear routers like the Orbee mesh receive support before needing to upgrade to the newest generation of Wi-Fi technology? Well, right now we're in sort of a transition period in Wi-Fi technology between was it
Wi-Fi
AC,
5 and 6?
Yeah, between 5 and 6, and so you're going to see a lot more products, that are going to be on the latest Wi-Fi technology, Wi-Fi 6, and with that, you're going to see older products, start to get put out to pasture, but we have always had a very long tail for some of those products. Michael can attest to that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the R7000.
Yeah.
That was the very first Nighthawk router that we came out with, and that's what, 6 years old, it's 8 years old, something like that. I think that was the last time.
I didn't even have my license when that came out.
Oh God.
I was 14. I was a sophomore in high school.
Wow. So with that, we are, especially Orbee, we're going to support Orbee for a while, but if you want to jump to the newest technology, we've had Wi-Fi 6 products out for over a year. We are hands down the leader in Wi-Fi 6. So if you want to get the benefits of the latest technology, there's a product somewhere in our product line that will probably fit your needs, one, and your budget. And that's one of the great things that you'll see from us is with these, we really kind of give you several entry points to have this technology, from the Nighthawk mesh, which is what, like $200, to like the Orbee that can go up to almost $900,000. So anywhere within that framework, you're going to find a really solid mesh network Wi-Fi 6 for you. So
totally.
If I was going to jump over to Wi-Fi 6, I would do it now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Like, I think it is great that we support our products for so long, and I think the reason we do that is so that you can buy something and keep it for a long time, versus we don't have planned, what's it called, planned obsolescence. Yeah, we don't really do that too much. We had somebody coming on to the show about a month ago who had a Wi-Fi like 4 router or something like that, like 10, 15 years old.
11N.
11N, that was it. And it was
11N.
It was working. I mean, it wasn't fast, but it was still working, which is great. But to speak to Ben's point, I think, oftentimes with new technologies, people don't want to buy it right away because there's bugs and whatnot. And what's great about Wi-Fi 6 is it's been out for, I mean, even just from us, not even as a protocol in general, but just from a Netgear perspective, for about a year and a half now, I want to say.
Yep.
It's tried and tested. Like our Wi-Fi 6 products are reaching that point of being rock solid. And so, I personally, I will be upgrading to Wi-Fi 6 soon. I have a Wi-Fi 5 router, and I'm looking forward to buying a Wi-Fi 6 router. And I know.
Yeah, but then you got to buy a Wi-Fi 6 phone. So there goes your budget.
I'm gonna get the iPhone 12 when it comes out. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like when I bought the Xbox X, and I was like, why do I have a console that's capable of 4K, and I don't have a 4K TV.
Yeah.
And I will say that it took all of like 2 hours before I had a 4K TV.
TV. Yep.
Oh yeah.
And so I am also eyeing switching over to Wi-Fi 6 and saying goodbye to my trusty XR500.
Me too.
But if I do that, I've been hovering in the iPhone 8 forever, and it's for me to make 4 jumps
Time to
up
jump.
to the 12.
It's time.
It's probably going to happen as well.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the only caution is once you open that like Pandora's box,
Yeah.
you're like, oh
Yep.
my god, this is
It's
also
a rabbit
Wi-Fi
hole.
6.
Yep.
This too. Next thing you know, my
Yeah.
refrigerator's Wi-Fi 6. You know.
Yeah, I went to
Uh,
Costco
it's a move.
yesterday, and the 4K TVs are like $230, and I'm just like, what is?
Don't tell me that. I just bought a 4K replacement.
What is 2020? What were you gonna say, Angela?
Oh, I know.
Oh, I'm just saying Wi-Fi 6 is the move. I got the iPhone that connects to Wi-Fi 6. I have an RX 200. And then this laptop right here where I'm looking at the chat is also Wi-Fi 6. And I get like 400. I have gigabit. And again, I have AT&T fiber, so I can't replace the modem. But what I could do is essentially I get maybe like 600, 700 down and like 400 up,
Nice.
which is far beyond my needs. So can't complain. It's definitely the move. Go ahead and check it out.
Totally.
Yep.
I always suggest it.
Also, a quick shout out to Ricky B. Glad you like my T-shirt. Thanks.
Yeah, I read it when he said that, and I thought it was funny too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do want to go back and catch up on the questions here. So we have one from Analog Kid Productions. I have a question for you, Analog Kid. Do you shoot film? I'm a big fan of shooting film. So.
And are
Okay.
you shooting film on film? And are you recording on tape?
Yeah, are you like shooting Super 8? Like, what are you doing? Let us know. I'm curious. Angela's curious. We're all curious.
I'm curious. Yeah, we all.
But I do want to answer the question. He is asking, how experimental is the CAX80 feature automatic band selection? Choosing between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz seems to be choppy for something like FaceTime. So to answer your question, it's not. I wouldn't say it's terribly experimental. I can't, speak to the process of developing it, but it's essentially going to be using an algorithm to pick an optimized band for wherever you are in your home.
And we've actually had that on our routers for a really long time, where it would automatically select, whether you're going to be on 2.4. I think we used to call it band steering. And it decides whether 2.4 or 5 is better for you. And then, it picks whatever the best channel is for that band. So it's been around for a very long time. And the choosing between the 2.4 and 5 shouldn't have anything to do with the choppy WebEx and FaceTime. That usually means that for some reason, whichever band you're on, the throughput isn't very good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I think at the worst thing you should see is like a nanosecond blip when you switch bands, which you wouldn't even notice. So,
yeah. So I guess sorry.
And it won't automatically be switching back and forth constantly. Usually if you're located in one particular location, once it figures out which band it wants to go on, then as long as you don't move from that location, it's not going to try to switch to another band. So
you should have
whatever band you're on, that's the one that you're on until you start moving around.
Totally.
Yeah, you shouldn't have like ping pong. You should stay on 5G if you're on 5, or 2.4 if you're on 2.4.
Yep.
So my question back would be, where is your CAX80 located? The first thing I can kind of think of when it comes to any kind of potential lag. As we mentioned, the lag probably wouldn't come from switching between bands, would probably just be between, let's say, a dead spot within your house. So just kind of like, just general rules of thumb, just don't stick it in the closet, keep it somewhere open, keep it somewhere elevated, don't keep it next to an aquarium or a microwave. That is apparently something that I've learned doing these shows. There's a lot of different factors that could kind of come about this.
Furthest corner, he followed up with like, it's in the furthest corner of the house.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
That's where they always
the
are.
algorithm settles on 2.4 2.4, of course it would. So 2.4 has a slower wave. Is that correct? It
basically
a milder hill.
Right. It has a longer wavelength.
Right.
But that means that it can't carry as much data because data is carried on the peaks and valleys of the wave. So it allows you to get a longer distance, but you get less throughput.
Yes. So because it's in the furthest corner, it is sending signal, like you're getting that connection at the 2.4 because that's the longest carrier wave. Is probably one of the things. It's up high on a tall desk hutch, which is good having it up high, because that way it's not blasting through furniture and TVs and walls, as much as possible. So having it up higher is better. But having it in the furthest corner, like moving it to the okay, so it's in the center of the house, tallest point, as I understand. It is a radio signal, so you'll want to have all of those things that you would want for a good radio signal to also work for Wi-Fi.
Totally. So hopefully that answers your question. Do you have anything else to add?
Well, I did see a follow-up a little bit earlier in the chat. So he says that they got, wait 1 second. Another comment came in. But they're wiring an access point with Cat 8 fed from an S8000, which is great. I think, my thing is I'm interested to see essentially the construction of the house. So it should have decent range as to where you set it. But if you still have a relatively large home, let's say it's trying to go through multiple floors, and let's say those floors is like an older house and it's made out of brick or concrete or something like that, that's where I could kind of see the radio waves, like essentially the Wi-Fi not being able to reach the farthest corners of the house. So I'm interested. Did you already set up that access point and you're waiting to see if that helps? Or that's what you plan to do? Because I would recommend that if you have a larger house and you have a CX80, it just might mean your Wi-Fi isn't going through reaching everywhere. In that case, that's where a mesh system or like an access point or even a mesh extender, that's going to help your situation out here. So I'm interested in what you got going on.
Depending on how many walls and stuff the signal gets through. If you put a mesh extender in there, it might actually be able to push the 5 gigahertz band out to where you're at, in which case you will get much higher throughput that you're getting on the 2.4 right now.
Yeah, it just really seems like it's not it's more of a range issue rather than like a band steering or smart connectivity.
It definitely seems like it's a signal issue.
And I think what he just said kind of verifies that point. Is in the farthest corner of the house using the Cat 8 from the wall port, he's getting 940 megabytes per second versus only 40 on Wi-Fi. So I think that pretty much verifies what we've been discussing here. It's just not making it all the way there. The best speeds you can expect to see from a CAX80 Wi-Fi 6 on modern devices. I don't know what the CX80 is rated for, but it is, it is a pretty high spec, the 80 spec, so to speak. I don't think you would ever get bottlenecked on speed from your router. I think your service provider would be what is bottlenecking you.
It is a DOCSIS 3.1 modem, so it should easily be able to handle the gigabit speed if you happen to have fiber.
He says he has gigabit speed, so you should be getting gigabit. And you saw on your wired connection you were getting 940, so you should be getting gigabit speed. Wondering what are the best speeds I can expect to see on modern devices, or does it fluctuate device to device since Wi-Fi 6 tech is so brand new? It will fluctuate from device to device. Wi-Fi 6 as a protocol isn't really that focused on speed, more so capacity. But I believe there even is a little speed bump between 5 to 6. It's not going to be
you're only going to see a difference when you have a lot of devices on your network, because it uses the same bands as the AX routers. So your speed should be about the same, except when you have a lot of devices on there, then you're getting congestion that will make your devices feel slower. And with the Wi-Fi 6, it should clear up some of that congestion, so you should be getting the maximum speeds that your device has. But it is going to vary a lot on the individual device. Obviously, what Wi-Fi it actually supports. Does it support, Wi-Fi 4, 5, or 6? The chipsets that are in the device, some of them are optimized for more speeds than others. So it will depend on the device as to what the maximum speed each device is going to get.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Wi-Fi 6 is like adding more lanes to the highway, not increasing the speed limit.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that congestion that you see at rush hour, that's gonna, now you have more lanes, you're gonna see overall speed increase during congestion because there's more lanes and more traffic can flow easily, but it hasn't increased the overall speed at all.
So I did a little experiment while you guys were chatting.
Mhm.
I'm getting okay.
Love it.
So my phone is Wi-Fi 6. I have an old crap top that isn't Wi-Fi 6, and right now in this network, so we're running the stream. I'm sending out a Zoom video and audio and all that, and then everyone else in my house is working too. So it's pretty congested, but I'm getting over double the speeds I'm getting on my phone versus the old laptop. Admittedly, it's 228 on my phone right now and 130 megabits down on my laptop.
Is that your
So
Lenovo, Angelo?
it is the Lenovo.
Yep.
Yes, I have.
Just,
But I have three computers in front of me.
Angelo is known for having the worst laptop at Netgear.
I was known for the best and then having the worst, but you know what? Now I have the Surface again, so it's worked out. My wallet.
All right. Well, we spent a lot of time on Analog Kid's question, and I'm glad we could have a great conversation. He did have one more follow-up, and I want to get to that before we go back and answer somebody else's question. But he does ask, while we're on the topic of his situation, is it best to run a single wider bandwidth LAN port from the CAX80 to the SX10, or is it better to use port aggregation from the CAX80 to the SX10 in the interest of feeding downstream? I think I know what the answer is, but I would much rather have Michael answer this.
Yeah, I have an answer, but I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna let Michael answer, and then I can jump in. Yes.
Yes, and the answer is yes. If you can do port aggregation on the CAX80 to your SX10, then you definitely want to do that, because it means that all the devices that are going into your SX10 now have two paths that they can choose from. So when one device is trying to talk on one of the paths, another device can talk on the other path without there being any congestion there. So it will actually speed some things up because they don't have to wait in as many queues. It's kind of like if you go to the grocery store and you have two checkout lines instead of one checkout line. You can only be in one of the lines at any one time, but it means that you're actually going to get through checkout faster.
Totally.
Boom.
That is what I was going
That
to
was
say.
that was where I was going. I was but I didn't want to jump out too far ahead.
And shout out to
talk about the grocery store. I'm hungry. Where's the food? I want popcorn.
Oh yeah, we should actually cater this.
We should cater this. Where is our tech support live budget? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. If we get
I
some
know we've been doing this for 4 months.
Premier Pizza, that would be fantastic.
Get some Premier Pizza. Oh no.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I did want to shout out Analog Kid. He said he's gonna be getting an SX10 in addition to his S800. I have an S800 personally.
Nice.
I love it.
I have the SX10. Awesome.
I have it as well. It is incredible, and it's incredible because for a $250 product, it has 2 multi-gig ports on it. Like that's in a consumer device. It's insane.
I don't know if I can show it here, but let's see if you can see it right there.
There it is.
There's your SX10.
There you go.
That's awesome. Wow.
Cool.
And that was skipping all the unreleased stuff, all the little secrets. Good.
That's covered by the green screen.
Oh, perfect.
All right, let's well, shout out to Analog Kid for being a super user, and also coming from me, shout out for being a wired internet user, I think wired internet is way better than wireless. Not to like downplay all of our wireless products, but I personally prefer wired.
That's such a hipster.
That was very hipster.
I guess so.
You're going retro. I'm all about
I just like
everything's
to
wired.
have my bands, my wireless bands, be nice and clean. You know, there's not a bunch of stuff on them. But all right, let's go back and answer some older questions here because we did spend a lot of time on analog kids questions.
Yeah,
Well, my phone is getting wired.
I wanted to also shout out Cornel, which was a little bit above analog. He's got some nice words for us, so shout out. You are awesome. Again, we appreciate it because as long as we see those kinds of comments, we're going to keep on doing these virtual events. So thank you, everyone, for joining.
Totally.
And again, everyone who's new to the show, please drop in your questions. We're just about to hit the hour mark. So you've got us for about another hour.
Another hour, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So go ahead, Ben.
Oh no, we've been kind of we've been kind of slow today. You know, we've been going pretty deep in the questions.
Yeah, we went pretty deep with that answer there.
we did. We went way deep, but we're gonna try to get to as many as possible, and still give you a great, you know, a great answer. So we're not gonna just breeze through some of these. But let's breeze through.
Let's keep going. We got a lot of piled up since we answered that last one.
Yeah, we have.
We got a question from John Paul Bacon, and he says he currently has the Nighthawk X4S DSL gateway. Was that the best DSL gateway that was made? If not, which one was the best? So to answer that question directly, I think Michael would probably know which one is best. I do believe the X4S is one of the better ones.
Yeah, in fact, I went and checked to see if there was any other ones that were better than that. And no, that was the best one that we came out with.
Yeah.
So I do want to speak about a new kind of part of the market that we've entered recently that we are really excited about internally and that we are continuing to expand upon in this part of the market. I believe this product literally launched today, I think. I could be wrong.
You better be right.
We better be right.
It just looks like a regular Orbee. It's fine.
You can't tell the difference. But I already showed this a couple weeks ago. This is the LBR20, and it has a SIM card slot right
Oh, yeah.
here. Yeah, I can. Don't worry. I'm good. No embargoes have been broken. I think this came out today, though. I'm pretty sure it came out today.
It did. I saw it. The press release. You're okay.
It came out today, so good timing here. So John Paul Bacon, DSL is really common in Europe and in some, you know, random places. It just has DSL. I know my buddy's apartment in California has DSL. It is an older technology, and you're going to be seeing less and less improvements on it, if any improvements on it. So if you are limited by not having coax or fiber, I would highly suggest going with LTE. You can break up with your ISP and, you know, start using, you know, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, all these different mobile services, and start using this with a SIM card slot as your main source of internet at your home. It's going to outperform DSL in any case where you have decent cellular connection.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing is DSL. You know, DSL used to be the best technology, and it's out there in a lot of places out in the country, and where, you know, cable hasn't really made that reach or fiber hasn't made that reach, and now you have a choice, which is pretty amazing. When I first moved to Alameda 4 years ago, I only had DSL here, and in the Bay Area, my top speed was 20, which was sad. Eventually, there's a couple of choices. Satellite, which isn't really a great choice at the moment, but could be in the future. And then finally, cable sort of made its way. We're slowly getting fiber in out here as well. But as somebody, as a former DSL user, this is pretty exciting because I can get speeds that I could only dream about. as a
Totally.
DSL user.
I think that this is going to be a really successful product. It's in the Orbee family, and you're able to use any other Orbee satellite to expand upon your mesh system, which is great. And it just gives you a new way to get internet, which is really, really, it's something that we're excited about. It's a new innovation that we're bringing to the market. So I would highly suggest the LBR20, just came out today. I've got the prototype here. I assume it works, but it's a prototype, so it might not. But the one you buy will work. Okay, so moving on.
Yeah, and just one final thought. There's a lot of places out in the country where it's cost prohibitive to get some of those things to your house.
Mm-hmm. You got to get infrastructure built for
that. Example, my grandparents' house was 8 miles up a mountain, and for the longest time they didn't have telephone service because it was literally thousands of dollars to drive a telephone line, by telephone pole or underground up to that location. So for people in very, very rural or remote areas, this is a huge,
totally.
I don't want to say game changer, but yeah, it's a game changer.
Totally.
You're gonna start seeing those dudes on alone out in the middle of Alaska playing Animal Crossing now because they have internet.
There you go.
So moving on. Sorry.
The best game. Okay, so yeah, let's move on here. We have a question from Kier Neal. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. So with the XR700, I know Michael E stated that he uses NAS, if I'm not mistaken. Would he use SFP Plus rather than use DAC? I heard SFP Plus has some pros, but I was wondering what you guys recommend. This is a Michael question, for sure.
With the XR700, if you can use the SFP Plus, then I would go with that. A fiber connection between them would be great. But with the NAS that I have, it doesn't have the SFP Plus port. It only has the 10 gig copper port. And so that's where I'm using the 10 gig copper card in my PC, going to the SX10 switch that we were just talking about there that has two 10 gig ports on it. Then from there over to my NAS, which has a 10 gig copper. So copper is a lot easier. It's a lot cheaper than getting the SFP Plus cable. But if you've got a NAS that has SFP Plus, I'd recommend using that instead of doing the link aggregation on the normal ports that you would have on the XR700.
Cool.
Boom.
Hope that answered your question. Short and sweet. Michael knows what he's talking about.
So that's a great question because that's Sweat Pappy, and I want to give a shout out to him because he is amazing in the community. He does setups for pro players using the Nighthawk Pro Gaming, and he optimizes their settings. He's helped out a lot of content creators and pro players, so he really knows his stuff. So that's why that was a deep cut question. And we're 16-0. Michael has never been stumped. So
don't tell anyone.
The day Michael gets stumped is the day we stop.
Yeah. All of a sudden, yeah.
Suddenly the stream just cuts off.
Suddenly it just cuts off.
Oh yeah.
Our channel gets deleted. Okay.
So, Vanessa Kitty, did we give a shout out to Vanessa?
No.
She's always here.
Shout out Vanessa.
And then Armand has a really quick question on what about Wi-Fi 6E? What about it?
Yes. What about it?
It's definitely coming, but right now I don't think that I don't think it's much of a factor right now.
It's not a big. It's not like Wi-Fi 7. It's not like this next huge innovation. I don't have the exact details. I'm sure Michael, you know better than I do, but it's not something, a couple, articles picked up on it and put it in a headline, but it's not this massive, like groundbreaking change in Wi-Fi. I would not upgrade your Wi-Fi 6 devices to Wi-Fi 6E. It's not worth it. If you already invested in Wi-Fi 6, I would stick with it.
Yeah, I feel that Wi-Fi 6E is going to go the way of 801 AD.
11 AD. Not
Yep.
it won't go quite like that because it doesn't have the major limitations that 11 AD has.
Yeah.
Because the frequency isn't that much higher than the Wi-Fi 6. Basically, with Wi-Fi 6E, all they've done is they've opened up some 6 gigahertz bands as opposed to just having up to 5. 6
Right.
gigahertz band means you'll be able to get slightly faster data speeds, but it will be affected a little bit more when it tries to go through walls. The higher the frequency, the more it's affected by going through any sort of an object. So I expect you'll see it rolling out in products, but it's going to be a tiny little incremental change. It's not going to be the same thing as like going from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6 or from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 7 when it comes out. So at this point in time, I don't see a big jump on the 6E bandwagon because there's not enough of a leap there to force manufacturers to suddenly start switching their chipsets over to something that supports 6E. But you will see it slowly roll out in products.
Totally. So
Awesome.
that should answer your question, Armin, and we'll keep on going here.
Keep on going. We've hit the analog kid follow-ups.
Said he was a fan of reel to reel, and then Vanessa Kitty said she develops film. That's pretty cool. I used to do some darkroom
Portable
stuff as
darkroom.
well.
Awesome.
It's pretty fun. The coolest thing is when you put the silver gelatin paper in the developing liquid and it like fades in. It's really cool.
Oh, no, you just like the smell and getting high off of all that fluid.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you did in college.
That's what I did in college. I'd be like, guys, let's go hit up the dark room. No, the dark room is really cool. I do enjoy being in there with the red light, and I haven't done it in a while.
There's a very visceral ritual feeling of developing film. I don't like developing negatives. That was always the process that I was like, God, this sucks. Because
that one's you're pitch black for the negatives.
Yeah.
When you're doing the paper, the prints, it's not as bad. But when you're doing the negatives, you're in the dark.
You're in the dark, and it's so easy to accidentally screw it up.
100%.
Like just 3% light, all of a sudden you've got problems across your film.
Totally.
But that feeling in the red room with the and you're developing, and after you've done the exposure and you put it in, and goes into the second tray, and it starts coming to life.
Yeah,
that's
the coolest thing in the world.
It's the coolest feeling. You feel like you're in like a spy movie or like some sort of thriller where you're a journalist. Even if it's a picture of a couple of butterflies.
When it finally starts, the development starts to come up, and all you see is one giant thumb.
That's when you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that process. There's and that's why I like reel to reel recording as well, off of analog, an analog deck and an analog amps, and that whole process is awesome. I've done a lot of recording where we've recorded digitally and then warmed it up by then taking that and then running it back through tape. And I think that there is something to it where analog loses a little bit of information, and that loss of information actually makes things interesting. And that even comes with grain in your photography. But now that I've waxed philosophically, we can move on.
Pictures are beautiful. That's what we got.
Film is cool. Analog, I have a tube amp, so I get you there too.
Yep.
We do have a OG in the chat. We have Theo in the chat. Welcome back, Theo.
Holy cow.
What's up,
Joining
Theo?
us
On from Twitch.
All right.
Where are we dropping?
Where are we dropping?
Like
we also talked
crossover
about
episode.
pizza as well. So
yeah. Nice.
All right, so we got a question from Gabriel Lopez. I do believe it was partially answered by Christian, who has taken over the control room. But Gabriel asks, I'm having an issue with the Netgear app where I can log into my router, but I cannot log into my EX 7500 extender when I try to log in. It says try rebooting the device or something like that. He's using the right username and password. Make sure you're logging in via the myext.com or it's something along those lines. I don't have the exact URL memorized, but it's like myext.org.net, something like that. That is the dedicated portal for your extender, not router login. That's a different portal.
Yeah, but he's trying to use the Nighthawk app to actually log into it.
App.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right, and it's ending up timing out. One thing to make sure of is make sure you've got the latest app, and also make sure that the EX7500 has the latest firmware on it. If it doesn't have the latest firmware, then it's possible that the app got updated, the firmware wasn't updated, and now it's having problems talking. So that would be the first thing to check and make sure of.
Definitely. So in any case, you should be going to myext and making sure it's updated. But yes, my bad. Misunderstood your question. Cool. So it looks like we might have caught up. Nope, that's a joke.
Nope, definitely not caught up. We're about 25 minutes.
Okay, so Vanessa Kitty asked a question. She seems to always have the answer, but today she's asking a question. What new device is this so I can recommend it to a friend? She's asking about the LBR. So this is an LBR 20. I don't necessarily have the link to the release. If we can get that dropped in the chat, that'd be great. But if you do look up LBR 20, you will find this. It is an Orbee product. Sorry, it's glitching out. I'll put it like right in the middle here. It is an Orbee product. So if your friend already has an Orbee, satellites or anything like that, this will seamlessly integrate into their mesh system, which is great. It's also one of our, how should I say, set it and forget it kind of products. So the Orbee is supposed to be simple and intuitive, and we hope that you find that it is. So yeah, LBR 20, check it out. It's got the SIM card slot right here. Cool stuff. Okay. Let's see. Similar situation to Analog Kid. This is from Marvin Knight. Can you add Orbee Mesh as an app to the CAX80 and use the same SSID as the CAX80 to resolve dead spots in the home? So yes and no. You're not going to be able to use like the dedicated Orbee, like the mesh, like the Orbee Mesh like family. You can use it as an access point, which is kind of going to make it like a dummy access point. It's not going to have like the Orbee app usability that it would have if you had the entire Orbee family, but it will serve as an access point. Is that correct, Michael?
Yes, that is correct.
So go ahead, Angela.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to say, so it's possible to use it as an access point, but is there anything else that we could possibly recommend as an alternative? Let's say,
yeah, I was just going to say, I would go with a Nighthawk mesh extender, or I'm sure if Brett was here, he would love to suggest go with a WAC or the new WACs. It's our business access points. If you honestly, and this is a new opinion that I've formed recently, if you're gonna hardwire it, I would honestly go with one of the business products, because if you're gonna set it as an access point and not use it as like a mesh system, I really don't see too much of a point of going with one of the Nighthawk branded extenders. They're great, but if you're gonna hardwire it, I would personally just go with a business access point. I think it's cheaper and it's gonna do the same thing. So.
So a lot of options for you. So I guess kind of drill it down. Orbee Mesh will work, but you will kind of lose some of that.
It's not going to be Orbee Mesh. It's going to just be an access point. Yeah.
Exactly. So you could compare that though to our Netgear business products, which we do offer access points. You could buy it off our website at netgear.com/store. And I believe those are technically cheaper than buying a standalone Orbee
Yep.
satellite.
And you
it's
can get the
still-
Wi-Fi 6. I mean, you have CAX 80, I believe, yeah, which is a Wi-Fi 6 product. We just released a Wi-Fi 6 access point. It's the WAX 610. It's on our site. It's brand new. If you go to store.netgear.com, it should be right there on the homepage. So go check it out. I would definitely say that that's the best move.
So those were two options. And then there's one more, which I would still say is an option, the Nighthawk mesh extender line. If you want to keep Wi-Fi 6, we have the EAX80, and I believe the EAX20 as
20.
well.
Yep.
And then that one we do have a limited time offer on that on actually the store as well. So 3 options. One is more, do you want to stay on the Nighthawk extender line and create a mesh network and keep Wi-Fi 6? That's option 3. Option 2 is setting up a business grade access point in your home, which is also a very good route. It's more prosumer, I would say, a little bit more tinkery, but you'll still get good performance. And then number 1 is, Orbee will work technically.
I wouldn't even put Orbee as an option. I don't think it's a good
Sure.
move. I mean, technically it is an option. You could do it. It would work, but it's not the best move. I would say go with the EAX80 or the Wi-Fi 6 access point from the business. But I mean, if you're going to hardwire it, I would heavily suggest the business one. Okay.
And I did have one additional thing for Analog Kid on his CAX80 to the SX10 connection. Since the CAX80 doesn't actually have an SFP plus port on it, and the multi-gig port on the CAX80 actually supports up to 2.5 gig, then it would be better to run that to one of the 10 gig ports on the SX10 you're going to get, as opposed to doing link aggregation, just because with the link aggregation, the maximum throughput you could get with the 2 ports is 2 gig instead of 2.5. You wouldn't get the 2 lanes, but you're losing about a half a gig worth of speed split between the 2 ports because you aren't using the multi-gig port.
There you go. So lots for you to consider. Let us know if you have any follow-up questions, because we really just threw a lot at you. It was probably overwhelming. So let us know if you have any follow-up questions. Question from Keith. Can anyone tell me, before I open up this brand new unopened Netgear Nighthawk X8 AC 5300 smart Wi-Fi router, is it any good? I need to make sure it will work with Google Fiber. So yes, it is a good product.
It is a good product, and I've never actually done this, but I may be the dissenting voice on the panel. But I would actually I would get the AX6 Netgear Nighthawk Wi-Fi 6 router, which is about the same, about $40 more than what you paid on the 5300. The 5300 is an AC router, and if you're getting a new router right now, I would get a Wi-Fi 6 router.
Totally agree. I was going to say the exact same thing.
I hate to say no, take it back, but I'm going to say no, take it back, and get one of the Wi-Fi 6 routers.
Even if you downgrade, like even if you pay less money, like Ben suggested the X6, or the RAX, what is that? 60?
It's the
I didn't even know that existed.
AX 53 or 4300.
43.
What?
If you don't want to pay more, I would go so far as to say return the Wi-Fi 5 router and spend even less on a Wi-Fi 6 router. Like I just think the value of getting Wi-Fi 6 is so important in 2020, especially with all these phones and computers coming out that have compatibility.
I totally agree with Alec. It's like, and that's why we're here on the show. Like, we could push product and we can say, oh yeah, that's fantastic, it's going to work great for you. But you know what? It's not going to work great for you. It will work good for you, but if you want great, you're gonna really want to move to Wi-Fi 6. Mm-hmm. And since it's unopened in a box, do it.
It's worth your time. I mean, do it. I think that if you're not an enthusiastic user, I think that those products are great. The Wi-Fi 5 ones, I mean, they do their job they do it well. But if you're tuning into this show, you probably want the newest and greatest, and I would go with Wi-Fi 6. So,
Yep.
Also, to answer the second part of your question about whether or not it'll work with Google Fiber, either the Wi-Fi 5 or 6 should work
Yes,
with it, because
Yep.
it's not acting as your fiber modem, which is what you're getting through the Google Fiber. It's just plugging into the LAN port off of your modem. So it's agnostic and it doesn't really care which modem it's being plugged into.
correct.
Yep.
Totally correct.
All you got to do, because I got the same situation. Again, I got AT&T Fiber, and I plugged it into I have an RX200, which is a Wi-Fi 6 router plugged into the AT&T modem. And then what I pretty much had to do was just make sure I don't have double NAT. So disable the Wi-Fi or set it to bridge mode on your AT&T gateway, and just make sure you only got one Wi-Fi name coming out of your Netgear product. Then you'll be set to go, no matter what you
Boom.
choose. So
Cool. All
Yeah,
right, so
so
move on to the next question.
Moving
here.
on, but that was a crazy question. Like, never said no. Just take it back.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has ever said no, return our product. But we want to make sure you're getting the best for your dollar, and we all think Wi-Fi 6 is the best way to go at this point in time with how big the portfolio of our products in Wi-Fi 6 has become.
There's just too many great routers,
Yeah,
especially in that price range.
totally.
That you could choose anything, $50 less or even $50 more. You're gonna find something that's gonna work out for you.
Cool. So we have a question from Justin here. We need to fix updates on the router because the newest update messed up his router, and so he had to go back to the old update to get it working right.
if you scroll all the way down, I think Christine, let us know. I think you guys were actually already talking a little bit offline outside of the stream.
And they
so
fixed
Justin,
it.
Yeah, if it's fixed, awesome. Otherwise, we'd still be able to help you out here. I know we would love to just make sure, hey, you're being heard. You threw a couple questions in here, but just to confirm, let us know if there's anything else you would like us to help out. Otherwise, I'm not sure if we need to go all the way.
That's cool. Yes, we have fixed it. That's the easiest fix that we've ever done.
I like that.
So I like it.
Cool.
So thanks to the support team that's helping us out behind the scenes.
Yeah, we got Christian behind the scenes.
Yeah,
right
we
now,
got
so
Christian.
Thank you, Christian.
And thanks so much. Just back there, it's awesome. You guys kick ass.
Cool.
We'll move on.
All right.
And a quick answer to Vanessa Kitty, and has anyone ever programmed an analog computer? Haven't programmed an analog computer, but one of the very first programs that I had to write when I was at the university was an assembly language for a streetlight. And it's amazing, just to change 3 different lights, it was like 5 full pages of code. So that's about as close as I get to the analog computer.
Wow.
That's
my
crazy.
My first computer, I would have to type line by line all the code, save it onto the cassette tape, so then I could play the game. I'd have to code the game before I could play the game.
I have done none of these things. Actually, earlier this week, I figured out how to add 2 CSS transitions to one element on a website. I was very proud of myself. I just had to hit enter, and so it would start a new line, and then it worked.
I can just
Modern technology.
I know that sounds so small, but like anything that you could accomplish to make CSS do the things that you want it to do, like I'm surprised you weren't out on the street high-fiving strangers.
I was really, really happy. It was a huge deal.
front end work is so frustrating. You have to have a certain amount of patience, a certain amount of, because everything you try, I'll try that. Nope, that didn't work.
Didn't work. I tried so many times, and I finally got it to work, and I was just like freaking out. I was like, oh, it looks so good.
And I love it when it's always the mystery code where you're like, didn't I already try this? And you're like, and all of a sudden it works, and you're like, wait a minute, I swear to God, I put that in 6 hours ago. But yeah, the miracle cures. Yeah, that's why I'm more of a back end developer. So it's all database.
There you go. All right,
in
so
jQuery.
I do want to answer this question. It's a very unique question, and I'm curious to hear what Tommy has to say here. But I have an Orbee, and I also have a Skyfi Wi-Fi on my telescope. My question is, how do I make the Orbee my access point, and the Skyfi does not have internet, so I need to switch when I net to download. Okay, so first question is unrelated. Is your telescope like a tracking telescope? Does it use Wi-Fi to track the sky? I'm just curious. But to answer your question, you can set your Orbee to be an in access point mode versus part of the Orbee mesh network, and at which point you're going to be hardwiring it and using it as kind of like a dummy point. I don't really know if that's going to solve your problem. I don't really have any experience with the Skyfi system.
I just looked it up since I've never heard of it before, but it looks like the Skyfi Wi-Fi is basically a serial to Wi-Fi adapter. So he's connecting the serial, I'm assuming connecting the serial to the telescope, and that's giving it Wi-Fi. So he wouldn't be able to actually wire the Orbee to his telescope, because I'm assuming this is just a strictly Wi-Fi conversion from a serial port that he has. If that's what it is, unless he can actually tell the telescope to hook the Wi-Fi from that adapter up to our Orbee, there's no way to do it on our side to force it over to make it use that. But I don't have any real experience with the adapter, so I'm not sure what its capabilities are, other than it looks like it's just a converter from serial to Wi-Fi.
Wow.
Okay.
Almost got stumped, but not quite.
Almost.
Almost, yeah.
I
he was
still
thin ice
consider
there.
that not a stump.
So Tommy did send a follow-up and says, yes, it does.
That is
I
cool.
believe
that is the sky tracking, because I've been doing some astrophotography recently, and a lot of these tripods, if you're taking an exposure for like 30 seconds of the sky, it's moving. And so a lot of these tripods or telescopes, they will track the sky so you don't get any blur, which is really, really cool. So
very cool.
I've been thinking about getting one, but they are very expensive. So I'm gonna need to get more into the hobby before I invest in that. But cool stuff. I didn't even know they had Wi-Fi versions of that. So pretty exciting.
Crazy.
Okay, so Mike says he had to return his Wi-Fi 6 router, and will be getting an R8000P. I think we did help Mike out a while back.
Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth offline on some problems that he was having, and it worked out where, yeah, he's going with the R8000P instead because the Wi-Fi 6 just was not working for him.
Okay, well, I hope the R8000 works.
That's a great product. It's tri-band, so if you have tri-band extenders, you can use one band for backhaul. It's pretty solid. So yeah, I would.
Yeah. And again, this is coming from the conversation of Wi-Fi 5 versus Wi-Fi 6. I actually did just push out a survey for. I was able to see, hey, if you are considering reverting back, is it why? That is something that I have heard and I've seen, and I distributed out to the product teams. I think ultimately, if you don't even have a lot of Wi-Fi 6 compatible devices yet, the R8000P is still going to work really great for you. I think just in terms of just like the raw hardware and the range and the speed that you'll get from it, it should fulfill your needs. And again, you could still upgrade later. We have a lot of Wi-Fi 6 routers that are going to be coming out at, well, we have pretty much one at every different price point that you could essentially imagine. So we're always here for you. So it's great to hear, though, ultimately that you're staying with Netgear. And again, if you have any issues or questions with the R8000P, come back on the show. We'll be happy to help you out there.
Yeah, and I've used the R8000P at a lot of trade shows that I've done as the main router for our booth. And it's been, rock solid, worked great at events where you have a lot of other Wi-Fi interference from the other booths around it. So definitely should work for what you need.
Yeah, I was going to say that, thanks for sticking with us and sticking with a different product. I was going to just say the same thing, that thing's a workhorse. So it's a known solid product. So it's a good choice.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, I believe after many, many long answers, we are caught up now.
That's amazing.
I know. We were pretty deep in there for about like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
today.
totally.
Yeah, we did.
So, guys, if you
Yeah, I
have
gotta
any
get
questions,
I got to give major kudos though to Ricky B, where he said that he programmed lighting controls in hexadecimal.
Oh wow.
I did some of that as well during my computer engineering program at the university, and yeah, it's different. Very, very different.
Different. Oh man, that's
Ooh. Oh.
it's very raw, right? I'm trying to remember hexadecimal. It's a lot. There's a lot of decimals.
It's a lot of decimals.
I
here's
cannot say I understand any of it, but it is cool.
Yeah. We got a very specific question on Call of Duty. So now for Call of Duty, the league has added proxy servers to protect the IP of the server and location. It doesn't show up in the geofilter. Is the geofilter still working if filtering mode is enabled? It is, but because of that's a specialized case for the league. I've got let's take that question offline because I don't think that we really want to there's a couple questions about exposing their proxy servers that we don't want to get into, but let's take that question offline. I know that you know where to connect to me. Send this question. I will send it off to NetDuma's team and get you an answer on it. My thought is geofilter is still working even though you're connecting to their proxy server because that's more of a direct connection. If you're not being able to connect to it, then it's definitely also working. So there should be a way to whitelist it in the geofilter if you have the address, and then that would probably be the best way to get it through the geofilter.
Cool. Yeah, we don't want to break any of Activision's embargoes publicly.
Yeah.
And then we gotta. Then they sue us, and we're in trouble.
Yeah, and it's season 5 just started, and I'm all excited about that. So yeah, I want to be on the good side of Activision.
I did want to make a quick little note on a comment that came in from Ricky. He said that he coded the lighting, the neon ceiling in the walkway between terminals B and C at O'Hare in Chicago. Me and Angela were there like in February. We were at
That's why the light was so bad. Now I understand who to blame.
We had some pizza.
We did.
It was good.
It was yeah. We were there for a layover,
2 hours,
and then yeah. Wow, I totally forgot. I almost forgot what the word layover meant.
Yeah,
I've been there once other before. Yeah, the airport's pretty cool. Chicago's dope.
That was my first time, but yeah, cool. Okay.
Gotta get to the airport.
So, question from Gabriel here, who had a question about his extender. He reset his extender to factory and is trying to set it up on the Netgear app. It says login timeout and my extender is the EX7500. Before resetting it was on the latest firmware, and my router is also on the latest firmware. So what I would suggest doing, you said before you reset it was on the latest firmware. Now that you have reset it, I would now go ahead and update it to the latest firmware.
Well, I think he's having problems actually getting into it.
Yeah.
Right, via the app. I'm wondering, could he go and update it to the latest firmware via his computer, and then try accessing the app? I don't know. That's a good idea. But
just want to make absolutely sure that the 7500 has a LAN port on it.
I believe it does.
So, and then just to kind of give overall context, also anyone else who might be watching this, I believe this is where Gabriel is having trouble seeing the EX7500 in the app itself.
Well,
but
it looks like he can see it. He says whenever he tries to log in, it times out. It basically says that there's a login error.
It's a similar situation with the Orbee that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I think with Orbee is we suggested to reset, and then after that, just get into the settings with the default admin and password without changing anything. Because again, I think there's something like, because I've been through it before where something got messed up with the tokens, and then it wouldn't let me in even though I was using the right admin and password that I originally set. So I guess kind of just remembering that, Gabriel, I would suggest going through the rest of the setup again through the mobile app and seeing how far you could get into after resetting it. Just put in admin and password and let us know which one is the bottleneck or what is the roadblock here.
Okay, so I think we've
Says-
reached another.
Well, Mike had a comment. He's like, "Thanks, been using my 5-year-old R7000. I appreciate all the help in the past. He's switching from the Wi-Fi 6 to the R8000, and with that, yeah, the 7000, man, like that thing. Like there are so many people that have used the 7000, the R7000, and have used it for like years. That thing is incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of one of our most legendary routers. I feel like that is.
I think that
most
is
recent
the
legendary
legendary
router.
Yeah, that is a legendary router.
That one is it's a real one.
Well, I still have that in my closet right now in case my main router goes out and then my regular backup router goes out. I can always fall back to that one.
And that's a great one to have as a backup, because it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably drop it in the mud puddle and pull it out, and it'll still work. Just want to say we're coming to the last 20 minutes, and you guys have been awesome. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, if you will, and
don't forget to like and subscribe. As
yeah,
they say,
I can't
as
believe
the
I
kids
just
say
did as
on
the kids
YouTube
say.
here.
Kids say.
Hello.
It really does help us out. It bumps us up on YouTube and lets us help more people, which is always something that we're interested in doing, and it's good for us, and we really appreciate it. So,
Fost Healer has a question on the beta. So it is a closed beta. We are getting to people as we go. There was an unprecedented amount of people that signed up for that beta test 2 months ago, and we've been trying to add as many people as possible. As we go, we're opening up the capacity little by little. All I can say is to have some patience, and we will get. We're trying to get to everybody as we can, and when will we release it? We're gonna release it when we feel that it's in a good spot to release it out to everybody. But just have a little bit of patience. We'll try to get to you as quickly as possible. And I'll have a follow-up question. Do you have a Netgear community ID? And if you do, we might be able to help you out today.
It's a golden ticket.
Golden ticket.
Yeah, let us know. We are the Duma OS 3 plug, as they say. So
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And just to shout out, we did do an event. I'm not sure if you were in that one, but we did it last week. Man, it seems like forever ago at this point. I don't know why. But we did an event last week, and then stay tuned because I think we're going to come out with more cool live events in the near future. So if this is something you want to see or you want more information about it, just keep throwing your comments out on social, and then that's what's going to get us to do these live events by hearing from you guys. So
yeah, we didn't even get to half of the features in that last one. So we're definitely going to be doing another Duma OS 3 as soon as we can. So but yeah, just hang tight. I know a lot of people are just really chomping at the bit to get this, and it's something that we want to get out to you. Yes, you have
XR500 with the community ID.
So I'm going to copy your community ID, and I'm going to ping somebody that might be able to help you.
Cool. So hopefully you're able to get some, some Doom OS 3 in your life coming up pretty soon. I personally don't have the beta. Ben, I signed up. What the heck? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I have the beta, and I'm not going to humble brag, but it's awesome. So we're checking right now. We're going to add you, see if we can add you, and you have the 500, so you should be able to get in there. And I do appreciate you asking. And also the fact that I can't even tell you how many people signed up, and we only did that one day, one event, and you guys were like amazing. You guys, there's tons. Okay, so
we do have a couple more questions here that I do want to get to.
Let me follow up real quick though. Done, Frost here. You are in, so you could go to the beta forum.
Nice.
There we go. Look at that. Quick turnaround.
He's also tuning in from Mexico too. So greetings across the coast.
Yeah, but he's in Cancun. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I oh man, I'd love to be in Cancun right now.
Yeah, it sounds like a nice time. Fortunately, we may not travel, but
right, we are, and no one wants Americans to go there.
Yes.
No. But we could technically go to Mexico though. Technically, right?
No, Mexico won't even let us.
Really?
No,
I thought that was the one country.
Canada, we're stuck.
Right.
We're stuck here. We can't get out. But we can connect with the power of the internet with our Netgear products.
Exactly.
So we can be anywhere.
All right, let's answer some of these last questions. And guys, we're coming down to the last 15 minutes. So please ask your last questions. We're still here to answer them for the next 15 minutes. But a question that we got that I think is interesting from Guillermo. How do you view device temperatures without having to log into the debug admin page? Wishing it was on the Nighthawk app or the Insight app. I'm not aware that you can, but that is a great suggestion.
That's an amazing suggestion.
Device temperature. Wow.
So, yeah, just to see if it's overheating or not. Yeah, that's awesome. That's something that we definitely want to capture.
If it's already in the debugging information, I'm sure it would not be that hard to implement into the Nighthawk app. So that being said, that is something we definitely will be suggesting to the software team. And if you personally want to make the suggestion and get the creds for making the suggestion, we do have an idea board on our forum. So feel free to jump in and share your idea.
Yeah, because I would love to take credit for that. That's awesome. That's probably like the coolest thing. And the funny thing is that's like a oh duh kind of like oh yeah, that would be really good, wouldn't it? So.
Well, you can go old school. I've got one of those guns on a shelf back here that's laser temperature readings. You know, can just aim it at things to get the temperature.
You are like Batman. You have like there is like your utility belt has everything. You know,
yeah, but I can't move. There's too much stuff on it.
Exactly. You're like
straight up.
We need Michael.
My router has sharks. Well, I've got this shark repellent spray right here.
We need Michael to do like a MTV Cribs with his router set up.
It'd be amazing.
Give us a like if you want to see that.
Yeah, actually, we're 2 likes away from 20. If we could get to 20, that would be amazing. I'm going to challenge you guys out there. Give us just 2 more likes just to get us over that hump, because like almost 20. But let's try to hit 20. We got like 10 more minutes.
We need to start setting some records. Yeah.
That would be great. Wow, that was such a great suggestion.
There you go.
Blown away.
And we did get a kudos from Ricky, who said he admires us youngsters. We are making life easier for everyone. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you for lighting the Chicago O'Hare Airport.
Yes.
That was a cool story. I like that. It's cool that you even remember the terminals that they were between. That must be fun to do that, and then you actually get to go see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Satisfying.
I've never been to O'Hare. Out of all the hubs, I've been to almost all the hubs except for Chicago.
Oh wow.
Well, there's
That's-
one really cool part between terminal B and C that you got to go check out.
Now I gotta go. Now I gotta go check
Go
it
up
out.
there and look at the lights.
No.
Hey, you got one more like, by the way, Ben. We just need one more
We
like.
just need one more.
One
Oh,
more.
I see 20 on my end.
You see 20?
Really?
I see
Oh
20.
wow.
I'm
Wow,
only
then we
seeing
already got it.
19.
I'm at 19.
Oh, oops. Well,
You're in the future.
I'm in the future.
Yeah.
Future like.
No, I'm still seeing 19.
Well,
we
at
just
least we
need
don't have
3
any
more.
dislikes because sometimes we get one dislike and
No, don't
makes
give
us
him any
sad.
ideas.
There we go. 21.
20. I'm at 20. I'm
All
at
right.
20.
Now
Thank
it's
you
21.
all.
All right.
I'm seeing 21. So thank you guys. That's awesome.
Perfect. And we got 2 more questions coming in. We got about 10 minutes. So everyone,
All right.
again, you got us for until 2 o'clock Pacific time. So there aren't any questions now. Sometimes I don't want to do crunch time, or what I call it, hot fire. I got to blast out questions to you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah,
in a
like
second.
the lightning round. We should always do a lightning round at the last 5 minutes. But so Frost here. Why does the XR500 have lights? They go from white to amber. I see in the forums that it's the internet changing from 1,000 to 100. Is it a failure in the router or the IP from the device? So when you get that like slowdown, where's that coming from, Michael?
Well, actually, if it's the light switching from the gig down to the 100 megabit, it basically means that the handshake between the router and the device it's connected to wasn't able to get the handshake for the gig connection, so it drops down the next possible one, which is the 100. And that can be on either side. Usually it's on the client side where it's dropping it down. So that would be the first place that I would check. It could also be a bad port. So you can try moving your connection over to another port just to be sure. But most of the time it's on the client side. Plus, or even more likely, if it intermittently happens, is change your Ethernet cable. Because if the Ethernet cable is going bad, that can cause intermittent errors. And if you get enough errors between it, then it's going to say, sorry, we can't keep at this speed. We're going to drop it down to the next speed.
Yeah,
and then
Michael,
later on, it'll check again.
I was gonna mention, like, at least in my experience, and my experience isn't extensive, it's always been the client device. Like, for example, I have 2 repeaters for like my smart home blinds and lights and stuff. And the port is not a gig port on this repeater because it doesn't need to be a gig port. So I have 2 LEDs on my XR500 that are red. So
yeah, but if the client device should support the gig and it just intermittently happens, then you've got to double check it. Also, make sure that the Ethernet cable is firmly plugged into the device. If, for instance, you push it in and it's getting some connection, but it hasn't solidly clicked in, then you will get intermittent problems because the connection isn't solid. So first check physical wiring, then you can check the client device and see if there's a problem on that side. Then the last one would be checking the router. But I'm guessing if it's intermittent, it's probably the cable.
Yeah, I always, this is a really good piece of advice to always go by with any sort of system that you are plugging cables in. Cables are the first thing to go and the last thing you check. And if you always remember that, and safety third, you should be good to go. But yeah, always check your cables.
Safety
no matter
third.
What.
I like that. Live fast. Okay.
So we've got a couple of big questions. Actually, cert or skirt. Trying to connect my modem to my router and says the router's not found. Help.
Actually, it should be the opposite.
Opposite
that you're looking at is if your modem's up and running, then you're connecting a router to it. You should be running the router setup to see whether or not it sees the modem, not the other way around. And if the router is not seeing the modem, and of course check the modem if there's a light on the Ethernet port that the router is plugged into. Make sure the light is lit, whether it's amber or white. At least you need some light there. If there's 0 light, then that means it's a port or cable problem. If you have a light on it, then check on the router side, walk through the setup, see where it actually stops. But the modem shouldn't be telling you anything about a router being connected in to start with. it's always you've got to get the router set up with the modem.
Just something that is such a simple error, but makes all the difference
Yes.
is you want to make sure you're plugging into this port here, the yellow
Yep,
port
the yellow one
on your
Yep.
router. If you're plugging into the LAN port here, it won't work. You got to be plugging
Yep.
into this yellow one. Just, I know it's a simple thing, but that will break the entire the entire system.
light is
So,
Skirt said the light is lit. And I'm also curious what products you're running off of too. So what modem are you using? What router are you using?
Yeah.
And is your modem completely set up and ready to go? You called your ISP already, or if you had to, just activate the modem through your ISP, and just ensure you're getting some internet connection of some sort through the modem. And then after that, then the router needs to see, hey, the modem is getting internet. Now I'm going to work. That's how these things work. Okay.
Do we want to jump to Gabriel real quick and then come back?
yeah, let's do that. Gabriel says, when I try to set up the extender on the app, it finds it and then it says, enter admin credentials. I put in the password and it says login timeout.
Yeah.
I would suggest
on this one. I recommend taking him offline on this and having him go to Netgear team at netgear.com and emailing this issue to us, along with in the subject line, stay connected.
hashtag stay connected. Yep.
Yeah.
And that way, we can do a little bit more one-on-one because there's obviously a problem there, but it's going to take some troubleshooting just to find out, where the disconnect is.
Definitely, yeah. So if you scroll up, you should see somewhere that email was put into the chat, or if Christian is able to put the email in the chat again. But that might need some more.
And down on the next one, down on Skirt J, says it's in the yellow one also. Let's make sure that you're not actually plugging the router into the yellow port on your modem. The yellow port on your modem should be connected to the internet. The yellow port on your router should be connected into one of the non-yellow ports on your modem. So it's connected to the LAN port on the modem. If you connect the router's yellow port to the modem's yellow port, you'll definitely have a problem there because that's not the way it's supposed to be connected. So as previously said, first make sure your modem is connected up to the internet and that it's working properly. Then plug the yellow port on your router into one of your LAN ports on your modem and run through the setup on your router.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully that helps out. And then, Angela mentioned earlier, a lot of these modems, that if you're going to use a third-party modem, it needs to be activated by your ISP. So I know I personally use Xfinity, and whenever you have a new modem, you have to call them up. I mean, they have an activation portal online, but I historically haven't had that work.
It doesn't work well.
I have yet to have that activation portal work.
Yeah, I've had to call them every time and read them the serial number on the modem, and then they can verify the modem, and then it works.
Yeah, and the MAC. I think you have to give the MAC address as well.
Yeah, if you haven't done that, nothing's going to work. You have to make sure that your modem is activated. So if that's a step you haven't taken yet, definitely do that.
Yeah, it's a painful part of the process, mainly because, as we know, the ISPs and also coupled with the fact that it's with COVID, a lot of customer service centers are out of people's homes now, and so that whole process is not as smooth as it used to be,
right?
And so your connection times are a lot longer. But if you can weather that storm,
totally,
they'll get you going.
Yeah, I mean, something else you can do if you want to expedite the process is when I moved, I actually didn't call them. I used their messenger. It was good. They did a great job. It was quick. I got a representative in like a minute.
Oh, you did it over internet?
Yes, I used their messenger support feature.
That's
pretty
brilliant.
quick. On my modem, it's all yellow and it says Ethernet, but I'll call Xfinity. Yeah. If you haven't called Xfinity, you're gonna need to do that. And then you're gonna want to plug the Ethernet cable from a LAN port on your modem. And I think, Michael, sometimes they're all yellow. It just depends on the product.
Yeah, normally they shouldn't be, but there probably is some
of them
third-party products that actually have made them all yellow. But they try to standardize it so that the WAN port is a different color than the rest of the ports so that people don't get confused. Because if they're all the same color, it's really hard to tell unless it's written very well on the port which one is actually the WAN port.
Totally. Yeah. So
right. Unless it happens to be a cable modem, in which case you don't actually have a WAN port, you actually have a cable that you're screwing into your modem.
I'm trying to see mine. I don't know what color my...
With Xfinity, it should be, you should have a coaxial on the back.
Right, in which case you won't actually have a WAN port.
And then you'll just have one port coming out, and then that port you'll connect to your router.
Yeah, well, actually you can have one or more depending on the modem that you have. Most of them will have one port, but I know we have at least one cable modem that has 4 ports on it.
Yeah, the CM1200. I have that one, and it's got 4 ports.
Yep.
Cool. Well, we're winding down, and we got a couple kind words in the chat from Foster, who says, "This is my first time watching the live stream, and it's awesome. The work and the help you provide." So thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you're enjoying the show, and you're always welcome to come back and ask more questions. And chat with some of the members of the chat and learn about Netgear stuff and Wi-Fi in general. We also had some comments about there's a lot of Air Force families in the chat here, so thank you all for keeping us safe in the air. We appreciate that always.
And it amazes me, like some of you out there, I'm not gonna name any names, but just the cool comments that you guys have from all the different great things that you guys have done, from like reprogramming like analog computers to like putting in neon in and programming lights. There's a lot of like awesome stuff. You guys are a fantastic community. So just love seeing all of that, and the other thing I love seeing is your guys' interactions with each other in the chat. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we're all here. We're a community here, and we love knowing what you guys have tinkered with in the past, because we're going to try to be experts as we can in our own space, but we love to be able to hear you guys and just have that dialogue, because we love seeing you guys. And again, shout out to our regulars, because we really appreciate your support here.
Okay, so it's an AC 1900
Wi-Fi cable modem.
So it's
which means it has the coax cable that comes into it, and all of the Ethernet ports on the back, one or more, will be standard LAN ports.
Great. So I think skirt. Recommend just get the modem up and running. So if you're kind of still in limbo world, what I would honestly do is just reset the modem if you haven't had anything set up yet. So just put a little paperclip in the back, hit that button, and then when you start it up, just start clean. So plug in the modem to power, plug into the coax cable, and just wait a few minutes, let the thing do its thing, make sure all the lights are booted up. And then what you're gonna have to do, well, what I traditionally do is plug an Ethernet into the modem, and then it should boot up like whatever Xfinity's portal, activate the modem, get that just up and running, unplug your laptop, let it sit for a few more minutes again, and then plug in your router. That is usually how I set my stuff up, and it should.
And actually, the one additional step is, once you've got it all set up and running from the laptop, and you disconnect the laptop, reboot the modem, power it off, power it back on again, because the modem, it will remember the MAC address of the laptop. So when you plug your router in there, it thinks it's supposed to be talking to the laptop.
Right.
I've had that problem in the past before, and I couldn't diagnose it. So yes, that is a very good.
I've had the problem before too.
That's the secret sauce right there.
Well, hopefully that
it should be more public sauce for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully that helps you get to where you need to be. Skirt. And if you need some further help, you're welcome to tune in next week. Or if you want some help sooner, definitely email the email that we provided in the chat there with the subject line that we provided as well.
It should be in the description below. So I hope that gets you at least some way down the road as far as like getting it set up. But yeah, feel free to, like, I always people I see on social media are like, well, I'm having problems with this. Can you help us? And I was like, have you reached out to our support team? And they're like, sheepishly, no. And I always say that that's a first step because, you know, as you can see, Christian in the booth up there, you know, helping out. They do awesome work, and you know, they take a gargantuan amount of calls, emails, and stuff in, and you know, just be patient. They'll get to you and they'll try to help you as best they can. But yeah, I always recommend that you reach out to them. That's what they're here for. You know, you know, this stuff isn't easy. You know, and that's why, you know, that's why we're here to kind of help, you know, smooth out some of the wrinkles. But yeah, always reach out to them.
Cool. Well, with that, we're a little over time here, so we're gonna
Oh.
close out the stream. Thanks to everybody who tuned in.
All right.
We appreciate having you here every week. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll see you next week. Everybody stay safe over the weekend. Take care and stay cool.
Yeah, we
Stay
got
cool. You ended with stay cool.
Okay, cool. Wait, I want to shout out one more thing. We got Tuesday. We got a virtual event coming up. We're gonna be talking about Nighthawk Wi-Fi 6. I don't even know if it's announced yet, but you guys are hearing it first. That's a 12 to 1 p.m. show on Tuesday. Nighthawk Wi-Fi 6. We're gonna talk about everything about it and, you know, all the difference between all the products. And then if you have more questions, come back next Friday. You're gonna get us again for another 2 hours, as long as you guys are here in the chat. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
See everyone later.
Stay cool. Bye, everyone.
Later.